Welcome to Backseat Confessions Podcast. Slide into the backseat as we listen to mostly anonymous strangers tell us stories from their lives. I'm a rideshare driver in Atlanta, and the people getting in my car have absolutely no idea I'm going to ask them to share. My commitment to you is to tell at least a snippet of virtually every story recorded in my car in the order they were told to me. My hope is that you laugh, cringe, cry, but mostly connect to these amazing people. You may find a piece of your own story or just feel more connected to the rest of us. Join us, won't you? So, hey, my new friend. This is an adult podcast. Themes and languages are definitely not suitable for everyone. Listener discretion is advised. What's up, my peeps? I'm grateful that you've decided to come along today as we pick up unsuspecting riders and ask them to share what's on their mind. And it's Atlanta, so at least you know it won't be boring. All right, buckle up, my friends, and let's get this party started, yeah. Story today might go under the heading of workplace romance gone sideways. There are a lot of moving parts between these two lovely ladies.
Story number 146. Saturday, February 13th, 2021, 1:29 a.m.
So tonight I will be talking about the time I met my Mrs. S over here.
Okay, nice.
Emphasis on the Mrs.
Mrs.
Yeah,
okay.
There's more to this.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we're going there. We're
going there.
So the first time I met Mrs. was at work.
Yep.
She was my how do you call it? Like she was my
preceptor.
My preceptor.
Wait, what is a preceptor? So sorry.
I work in the medical field.
Okay.
So she was my trainer.
Got it. Yeah.
So I met her. The first time we met, we kicked it off really well. Great girl. Amazing time. I didn't know she was lesbian, but I can pretty much tell. I can pick up the gay vibe.
You got the gaydar going on. Okay, yeah. Fair.
So, what had happened was... we basically talked, and I was trying to throw out hints to see if she was gay.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I was like, is she gay?
Right.
So once I found out how I found out was I threw out a comment about a friend and how we tried to do something together at one point. Right. And she was all for it. I'm like, yeah, this bitch is gay.
Right.
So, to sum it up, that same day, she gave me intercourse, head.
Wow. Wait, not at work though, right?
It was at work.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was in the parking lot.
Wow. Look at you guys.
So so that happened.
That's fantastic.
And then I don't know, I just came off of all of that. I don't know, it was great. That was my first experience with a girl.
Oh, really? Okay, so you're bi.
I guess I can label that. Yeah, we can label
no, or
that.
I'm asking. I'm just.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Okay. So, but up until that point, you'd only been with dudes, but you'd been interested or curious about women.
Yes, that is very correct.
Okay, you've been very curious about women.
Yeah.
And your first experience is with the word that begins with P that I can't say. Preceptor. And she gave you head in a parking lot. That is fantastic.
Yes,
Wow, that's all. So then, how long have you guys been together then? Or is that the wrong question?
That's the wrong question.
That's the wrong question. How long have you been friends?
That's the wrong question.
Oh.
It's not. We're not gonna go there.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. We've been friends. We've known each other since September.
Okay, so this is not like a super, super long... You guys are relatively still fresh.
So I was being a hoe.
You were being a hoe, okay.
I can admit to that.
Yeah, shoot. I
feel like whole nights, that's fine. Like, It's not, like, you only live once.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so...
And you said she's a Mrs., so she's married.
Yeah, she's married.
To a woman or a man?
A man. And she has a child.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, so this definitely adds some layers.
And I tried to make her mine.
Yeah.
I did, but it didn't like work out how I wanted to because I have like jealousy issues and that don't work. Like it's either me or him. You know what I mean? So moral of the story is,
did you sing her the Beyonce "If You Want" and then you better put a ring on it?
Basically.
Okay.
And she's not interested in men at all.
Okay.
But she likes women. And
So then how does she have sex with her husband or does she just?
Apparently she doesn't. What do you do, Mrs. S?
Oh, we don't have to put her on the spot.
Hi,
okay.
guys.
Oh no. Miss S, by the way, for the world to know, is having a very she's a little drunk, let's just put it that way. Yeah. So
No, actually I'm just like as a normal. I'm in my normal state of mind, so anything else.
essentially, our mildly inebriated friend here, Mrs. S, went on to explain that she wasn't at all into men and really loved women. She stated that Miss R was not bisexual, but bi-curious, and that Mrs. S couldn't be with her because Miss R still dated guys. And once you were touched by a man, you were contaminated. Mrs. S words, not mine. So there you have it. I can only imagine what it is like for these two friends to work together as nurses with all this complicated sexual tension going on. Someone could probably write an entire medical drama series based on these two. If you have dated in the last 10 or more years, then you know what it is like to be ghosted. And you may have ghosted someone yourself. This lady shares her experience with this phenomena.
Story number 147. Saturday, February 13th, 2021, 2:21 a.m.
So, back in January of 2020, I was at a named place in Atlanta, Georgia, ironically, and I'm in Atlanta right now.
And for the listeners, you're not from here.
I am not from Atlanta. I'm from Texas.
Yep.
But January of 2020, I was in this beautiful peach state, is
Yes.
what you call it, right?
That's right. Yeah, we do.
And I met this gentleman.
Okay.
I complimented his denim shirt in the way
Nice.
it was wearing on him. And we locked eyes. We had an attraction to each other. So I'm answering the question about a misconnection with a stranger, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And exchanged information, communicated so solid for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This individual went ghost on me.
He did.
I think that's what we're calling it, yeah.
Yeah.
And he surfaced
Oh.
almost a year to the date this year.
Oh, in
January.
2021.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
2021.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Captain Kirk, how are you?
Wow.
A year later.
What was this has got to be the dog ate the homework excuse, but what the hell was his what was his excuse for that long ghost?
So I was like, the question is, how are you?
Right, exactly.
Because I haven't heard from you in a year.
Right.
His response was, I said, you didn't seem like the type of person that would go silent. He said, I'm not. 2020 was a rough year. And then it dawned on me that I met him in 2020 right before COVID. So I said, and he said he lost a family member, son had his first child. So I said, you know what? I didn't want to pry. And 2020 was a rough year for all of us.
For sure.
So I kind of gave him a pass.
You gave him a little bit of leeway. Oh,
Yeah.
look at that. So is there any kind of chance or spark or possibility, or where is it at with him?
Well, I love that you asked that question because We communicated for a solid week.
Okay.
And he went ghost again.
No. What a douchebag.
I'm like,
come on.
It's very confusing. I don't know him well enough to know.
Right. Yeah, what's going on?
You know, I know he's having a shift in career and life, and so I'm someone that gives people benefit of the doubt. I mean, stuff happens, right?
It does.
So I'm here in Atlanta again. I
Right.
did call him. I left a message. I said, hey, I'm in your city. Just wanted to let you know. But if I don't hear from you, I'm assuming you're busy or you don't want to be bothered, and either is your prerogative.
For sure.
Take care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're such a cool lady. I'll tell you what. Whoever you are, mysterious man, if you happen to hear this and you're like, I think this is my chick from Texas. She seems pretty wonderful and pretty amazing.
Aww.
So you're missing out. That much I can. That much I can say.
I appreciate that.
Well, gosh, yeah, it's hard for me to say. Like, do I hope that you guys connect? Because
right.
What if he's not? What if he's just not a very reliable guy?
I'm going to tell you, I trust the process,
That's right.
and I really believe that if it is meant
That's right.
for me,
I like it.
then he will be in my life. But I feel like maybe I dodged a bullet because twice.
That seems a little.
Ghost, it's a little odd.
It is a little odd. It's not impossible. It's just like it's odd. I'm with you. Well, you know what though? You have an incredible, wonderful personality. You're a beautiful lady, and you know there's plenty of fish in the sea. So if this one doesn't want to jump out of the water, whatevs. There's
splash, splash,
splash. Thank you so much for sharing your story tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. I really believe that she's onto something with trusting the process and not trying to make something happen, but also staying open and giving the benefit of the doubt. That is a beautifully balanced way to not only approach dating, but to also approach life. I really enjoy talking with exotic dancers, or what some might call strippers. I feel like they just inhabit such a different world than I do, and in general, I'm fascinated by what is different than me.
Story number 148. Saturday, February 13th, 2021, 3:10 a.m.
Okay, so basically, I am a dancer.
Okay.
I'm an exotic dancer.
Exotic dancer. I get lots of those in Atlanta.
That's funny. That's really funny. You're in Atlanta. Okay.
I know.
So there's like a couple of them, but I'm gonna give you like the kind of rundown of like what we like do like as a dancer.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's like kind of like very mentally and physically stressful.
That's what I hear from literally every girl says they have to be sloshed to be able to mentally be able to stay present in their job.
Definitely. It's a very hard job.
Yeah.
Very straining. I'm gonna say this. So there was this one time. A dude called me over and he wanted me to dance on a back pole. So like it's basically like where like you don't really have like a lot of people come back there. It's like, you know, we're in a small town. We have like a small club. Okay. So like they had a group of guys over there. The dude called me over there. And I was dancing for them.
Yeah.
I was basically kind of like on all fours. Mm-hmm. And a guy literally like splashed his water bottle all over me, all in my crotch, everything, my whole, like, everything was soaked.
Right.
That was the worst experience that I've probably ever had there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and then there's a couple other ones. Like a dude paid me to lick my armpits one time. Like that was
lick
like
your own armpit?
Yeah.
That's challenging.
Yeah.
That is so funny. Was it like in a sort of like a private space, or just like wide out?
Well, it was in a VIP room, so it wasn't like completely private. Like it was basically like there was a couple other dancers and like other people back there, but it wasn't like completely private.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, hearing people's like some of the. Yeah, like the foot fetishes and stuff never make any sense to me. But I know there are guys out there that will pay good money
No, there's like a bunch of stories like the other girls have. Like I know that like people have asked to suck toes and like all that crazy shit.
And they'll pay good money for that. And you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
So overall, are you? I'm so curious about sort of the practical side of it. The dancers that I have talked to before appear to be making great money, but they don't appear to be doing, like, they don't have like a good long-term strategy with their money to like become financially secure. And so anyways, that's my question to you, weirdly, is are you doing things to set yourself up? Because you probably don't want to dance for the rest of your life, I'm guessing.
No, definitely not. So like one of the things is like you do like, okay, so like you go in every day like feeling like you're gonna make money. So it's like you go like, okay, the next day you make like, let's say $900, you make it in one night.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go the next day and you're like, oh, I can spend like almost all of this money and make it right back again.
Right.
Sometimes it's not the case. Okay. Sometimes like you could spend all your money and not make a damn thing the next night.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like it's like hard to like kind of now a lot of dancers do save their money.
Okay, good.
So now I will say that I have not saved my money in the past.
Yeah.
And I am one of those ones that are like, oh, I'm gonna just make it back the next day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'll live in the moment.
It's definitely hard to save the money because you know that you're probably either going to make it that next day or then you're going to like, if you don't make it that next day, you're going to make it again. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like one of those things where like, okay, I really need to put my mind to it. I really need to like save my money, like actually like, you know, put a savings account in for myself. It depends on like how young you are, like completely. Like if you start out like and you're like young as shit, you know what I mean? Like you don't want to do that. You want to just like go and blow all your money because you haven't never had that before. You know, there's a lot of girls that go in there with nothing. And then they make so much money. And it's just like, okay,
it messes with them.
I'm gonna make that tomorrow, and then it keeps going. You know what I mean? And then you have your hard nights. You have your hard seasons also. You know, because it's really like when you make the most money. Like, okay, so I live in Athens.
Right.
Athens is like mostly like if you make all your money on like either the weekends or game nights. When we have game nights, it's like really good. But other than that, like we have like regular nights. We could go out of there with like $1,200, or we go out there with $100. We never know.
Wow. So it's like
it's
spectrum.
It's iffy, and it's like Mondays are probably the worst for us.
Okay.
Now sometimes it has been really good, but Mondays are usually the worst for us.
That makes sense. People are just getting back into the swing and they're not happy.
Yes.
So what's your like? Okay. You know, you save and you do whatever, but like what would be, if you're able to put aside enough or whatever that looks like, where money's not so much a critical factor, what's your dream? What do you want to do? Tell me a little bit about that. Passion, dream, hope.
You know what's hilarious? I would actually love to own a hotel.
Would you really?
I used to work in the hotel business. Like that's before I started dancing. Like I worked for Hilton actually. I did, and I loved it. Like I loved the hotel business. Like I would actually love to own my own hotel.
Like a boutique hotel. Awesome. And that is a very capital intensive thing.
It's very intensive, but like I would love to do that. Like
that's amazing.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
you.
I hope this young lady someday gets to realize her dream of owning a boutique hotel. And as a bonus, she'll have great stories for the rest of her life about all the shenanigans that she's gotten to be a part of inside the strip club. Our next rider hits on a nerve that most of us in life will experience, where our relationship is not going the way we want, and we're trying to balance our hopes and needs against what the other person can give. We also talk about traditional gender roles, which is something of a hot topic these days.
Story number 149. Saturday, February 13th, 2021, 4 a.m.
So my story is, so what's today? Looks like it is the 13th.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
Of February.
Yes, of February. So going back like 2 weeks ago, February 1st was my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So that was a Monday, and the Wednesday before that, my boyfriend decided to get up and leave and move to Colorado.
Oh no.
And
like with no warning?
It
like
was
literally
like 2 days beforehand warning. And he moved here from California in June. Like I met him through my sorority sister, and like it was just like one of those like weird fucking things where you're like, oh fuck. So
yeah.
That's kind of what happened.
Wow.
So, everything was fine and dandy. He got fired because he had COVID and couldn't get a test in time. And he did have COVID. Like, I will literally vouch for that. But he did leave out of nowhere and left me, like, all the bills and, like, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, you guys had already got a place together.
Yeah, we got a place together, 1 bedroom together with our cats, and, like, got a new cat and, like, everything like that.
Wow.
And that happened, and I was like, whoa, like, and he's a musician. He definitely is, and I knew that going into it, but also I thought he kind of had more drive than he did, and he just got up and left. He's like, hey, I'm going to go stay with my friend who, like, we've used to make music with before. And I was like, okay, like, I mean, like, I don't understand that, but, like, you're, like, literally leaving me, like, with everything.
Yeah.
And, like, what's your thoughts about that? And he was like, well, I'm going to get a job when I get there, so, like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, but, yeah, no, it does matter. So, like, you don't know when you're going to get a job. Like, you're literally leaving with everything, and this was a partnership. So, that happened to me.
Wow.
And so now I'm kind of in the spot of, like, I love him and everything, but, like, I'm in sales. So, like, obviously, like, I have that personality that's, like, a go-getting, like, goal-oriented, like, kind of person. And he's kind of the opposite. So it's, like, we're in this standstill of, like, like, one day I want to be able to be a stay-home mom. And, like, if I'm with him, I'm like, is that even an option? And, like, I don't know if I'm willing to, like, give that up because, like, I think any woman, like, deserves that.
If she wants it,
if she wants that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you break it down, childcare is about $35,000 a year anyways. So.
True. It's very true.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm like, this guy has no, like, ambition and drive, and he just got up and left. And, like, I am 25 and, like, have goals and, like, financial, like, goals I want to hit, and one day be able to be a, like, stay-at-home mom and, like, full-time wife and, like, be that, like, perfect person, and, like, I don't know. So that's what happened to me, like, 2 weeks ago. So, like, that's very, like, random. And my boyfriend left me out of nowhere, and, like, total, like, character where, like, you wouldn't think that. So
like, okay, so number one, it sounds like you're, at this point, still calling him your boyfriend. I know you have doubts and questions, but you'd still call him your boyfriend. If he, like, showed up tomorrow, he'd still be, like, in your life, in your boyfriend.
Okay,
yes
well,
or no?
There's no way he's showing up tomorrow.
I know,
we would have, like, if he was like, hey, like, I think I'm going to come home soon, like, we would have, like, we would sit down and have, like, a deep-ass conversation where I'm like, this is what I'm expecting. If you cannot provide that for me, then, like, there's no point in this, like, going further, because I know what I want and you know what I want. So where do we go from here, kind of thing?
Which I will say, it sounds like you're a very upfront girl. Like, you're like, hey, listen, this is what I'm about. I want the very traditional marriage and set up. And if you're not into it, then and there are definitely plenty of men that are looking for a girl that, want sort of the traditional setup. So I love that you're upfront about it, though, because not everybody's into that.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, the time we live in now, everyone's kind of, like, whatever they want to, like, feel and, like, believe in.
Yeah.
But I was, I grew up, like, old Southern. Even though my dad's from Philly. So that's funny.
Yeah.
But my mom's from the South, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I think that played a big role in how me and my sisters turned out, and having that person home every day, and like all this stuff. So that's what I have in my plan. And if a guy can't provide that for me, because he's even said to me a time or two, like, well, you know, like, it should be equal. We're men and women. I'm like, well, do you carry a kid in your body for 9 months?
Nope.
Like, I don't think we're equal, honestly, dude.
No.
Like, that's not equal. We're not equal. Like,
equal under the law and equal as human beings is two very, very different things. And I agree with you on that.
It is. I'm just like, you say we're equal, but like, you're not carrying this kid.
Right.
Like, you're not feeling these emotions. Like, and no matter what, I mean, someone could probably beg to differ, but like, I feel like anytime a woman gives birth to a kid, like, the kid, it longs for its mother. Of course, the dad's a big part of its life, but at the end of the day, it's like mommy. Like, I want mommy, and like, so like, as a mom and the woman in the house, you're trying to figure out, like, okay, so I got to make this baby happy, my husband happy, the house clean, the laundry done, food cooked. And then at the end of the day, there's time for me. And that's what I was trying to tell him. I was like, you don't understand, like, when, like, there's kids in the picture, like, yeah, you're having a little bit of a sacrifice, but my sacrifice is more than your sacrifice.
Listen, I was same as you. My mom stayed home and raised us, and I am eternally grateful that she was able to do that.
It makes a difference. It really does.
It really does. Like, I mean, nobody's childhood is perfect, of course, but
absolutely not. I've had fucked up things happen to me in childhood.
Of course. No, but it definitely, I'm 100% with you. It is a really special thing, and that doesn't, any mom who can't or actually doesn't want to, that's totally cool too. I know kids turn out, wonderfully, however, but it is a cool thing if they can. So my last question for you, I think, excuse me, is how is your heart? How are you doing emotionally with all this?
My heart is hurt.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because before this, I would have never questioned him.
Okay.
Like, I would have totally thought he was like the guy for me, because we were working through things and stuff. So, I mean, definitely I was like taken for a loop, and like definitely devastated and like crushed. And he's not quite understanding like why I'm as upset as I am. Okay. And he's like, I'm coming back. I don't know what the big deal is. I'm like, well, the big deal is that you left in the first place. When we have a house, like, apartment together, like bills together, like you just said, well, you make more money than me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Well, that's not how it is. I have financial goals for myself. I have student loans I have to pay off. Like, and he's not understanding that, and that's what's frustrating, because I have a savings account, but that savings account is what I have built up for years to be able to take out of to pay student loans, you know, whether Biden like forgives them or not, you know what I mean? Like,
gosh, that would be awesome.
If he does one thing right, it would be that, but we're not going to get into politics.
No, let's stay away from politics. I'm with you. Gosh. Well, KK, thank you so much for sharing your story. I love that you're a traditional woman. I think it's cool when people, whatever their belief is, I always think it's cool when they do a little different than kind of the norm, I guess. So I applaud you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like nowadays more people are like going against the norm. And I
agree with you, actually. Your generation of women, there is definitely more freedom to really, really choose. And
there's nothing against that either. I'm not hating against that.
No. Yeah, no, I agree. But there are, because they have the total freedom to choose, there are some that are kind of saying, you know what, I like this traditional point of view, this traditional stuff. And so,
I do like that. I like the man being the man, you know what I mean? And it's in the Bible as like, the women is the nurturer, and then the men are the hunter and gatherers. And I think, that's a thing for a reason. So.
Yeah, no, I have, I can't disagree with you. There's definitely a lot to that. Well, Miss KK, thank you again so much.
Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
For listening to my sap story.
No, because there's going to be, I hope many, many people listen to this. Hopefully someday, a gazillion people listen to it, and there's going to be many people that are in some sort of similar situation. So
probably,
yep.
I mean, I know this is probably more common than like I would hope.
I know. Sometimes we feel so alone in whatever we're going through, and then you hear somebody else's story, and you're like, "Oh, I'm not alone. This is part of life."
I know, and I hate it though.
I know.
It's not fun.
It's not fun at all. But it's also part of living and learning and all that good stuff. And you're young, and you've got lots of life ahead of you, and you're an amazing young lady. You're gonna be okay.
I hope so. I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, trust me. You're gonna be okay. But thank you again so much.
Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Because I'm such a hardcore freedom person, it makes me happy that women have come to the place, at least in this country and other developed nations in the West, where they can choose what path they want to take. You can go hardcore after career, go hard after being in a more traditional stay-at-home mom role, or some blending of the two. But at least there are options. Pretty cool if you ask me. The details of this next story are hard to wrap your mind around, and there is a little bit of a language barrier, but the absolutely incredible lady telling it was inspiring on so many levels. Overcoming adversity while keeping your humanity intact is powerful, and she exemplifies it so well.
Story number 150. Saturday, February 13th, 2021, 9:21 p.m.
Well, it's a very tragic story that even today I have been thinking a lot, because with a pregnancy, being alone without my mom, I had been very sensible today. So it's a very sad story because it's about my mom and my dad.
Okay.
So sadly, things happen, and many people believe in the good and the bad, like God and the devil.
Yes.
So I'm Catholic, I believe.
Yes.
I have a very beautiful, in resume, I have a very beautiful childhood.
Okay.
Sorry, my English.
It's okay. And for the listeners to know, you're having contractions right now. So
yes.
That's why you're out of breath.
Yes, I'm out of breath.
Yeah.
So I have a very, very beautiful childhood with my mom and my dad.
Now, did you live here or?
In Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic, okay.
Yes, I came to Atlanta 8 years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
So the thing is that my mom and my dad were the best.
Yeah.
The stronger one even was my mom.
Yeah.
My dad, the weak. But things happen, and one day, being in divorce and many other things.
Being in the what now?
Dealing with my mom and my dad with divorce.
Oh, divorce, yeah.
Yeah, divorce, a second person in the relationship and other things.
Uh-huh.
One day, the devil knocked the door of my beautiful house, and my dad shot my mom.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So,
wow,
that had been the hardest things of my life.
Yes.
Until right now, with contractions and pregnancy, having this baby without my mom, having this baby without my dad.
Yeah.
So what I can say about this is that it's very painful, but I forgive my dad.
Wow.
My sister and I have a sister.
Yeah.
So my sister and I decide to forgive him.
Wow.
To deal with this, because we are now God to say what's going to happen with him.
Yeah.
He is paying, of course, he's in jail, but at the same time, he's all, and we are by his side.
Wow. Forgiveness is incredibly powerful, but it's also most people, or I don't know about most people, but a lot of people can't.
Many people cannot.
So that's incredible, and that's a gift to you as well. You know that, right? I mean,
that's why I mentioned that I have a very beautiful childhood.
Yes.
Because the ones that make me and my sister think alike.
Yeah.
Was them.
Yeah.
So it was a huge, big, horrible mistake.
Yes.
That just God knows what happened that day because nobody was there.
Did he ever talk about what, from his point of view, why he did it?
I really didn't wanna.
Okay. Yep. That's
no, I really didn't wanna hear nothing.
I understand.
Because there is nothing that he can say that can fix it.
Of course, no.
And there is nothing that he can say that is gonna make the time go back. Like to understand it. Yeah, there is no way. It had been 2 years, and there is no day that I can understand it.
Of course.
Neither my sister, but
wow.
There are things that doesn't have answers.
Right. That is yes. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Man.
So the only thing that you need to do is move on because you cannot get stuck. You need to continue with your life like I'm doing it right now.
Yes, ma'am.
But that is on my heart forever.
Yeah.
And more today. So when I see the subject, that's the stronger one. And more today, trying to have my baby with a lot of pain.
Yeah. Well, you are an amazing, strong, incredible woman, and you're going to have this little boy, and I know you're going to raise him with love, and I really do feel for you that your mom can't be there because I know she would, I'm sure she would really want to.
Yes.
I don't know what
yes. Thank you.
But bless you, sweet lady, and I hope that you're... I know pregnancy and birth, I can't even imagine, is got to be one of the most difficult things, but you seem to be handling with grace, and I just hope it all goes just as well as it possibly can for you.
Amen.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
It is unthinkable to have to deal with forgiving a dad that murdered your mother, and then to be missing her as she was literally in the throes of contractions. I pray generational blessings over this sweet mother and her baby boy. Our last rider for the night takes us boldly and bluntly into the world of sexual dysfunction in a relationship. Huge kudos to her for not shying away from using honest language for a subject that can, for many of us, be an embarrassing one to verbalize.
Story number 151. Saturday, February 13th, 2021, 9:49 p.m.
Okay, so my story is why I think my ex-boyfriend is potentially gay.
Okay, awesome.
So we were together off and on for about 6 months.
Okay.
We never had sex.
Oh.
And in that time period, we also went on vacation together.
Let me ask, did you ever ask him for sex or prompt, kind of like...
I never asked, but there were times that it was initiated.
That's what I meant. Did you initiate? My brain just couldn't go there. Okay, so this isn't like he's like a really Christian, upstanding, whatever, and you never asked, he never. This is like you were literally like, hey, and he was not interested. Okay, got it. All right.
Right.
Building the picture.
Yes. So no, he has had sex before. It is not like some potential I have no idea what to do.
Pre-agreed on thing that we were going to be abstaining until marriage or anything like that.
Right.
So we were together off and on for about 6 months.
Okay.
In that 6 months, we never ever had sex.
Right.
In that period of 6 months, also we went on vacation together, just the two of us.
Oh.
In an Airbnb.
In the same bed?
In the same bed.
Oh, wow.
It felt like I was sleeping next to, like, my buddy, my pal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he never touched me.
What?
Nothing. We did not have sex. Like, nothing.
Did he even like to kiss or anything?
We kissed. We made out. Like, that. But at that point, that was basically it. Like, that was
Wow.
all we did.
Wow.
We did nothing else beyond the fact.
Okay, yeah.
So, there was that aspect. We went on vacation for, like, a long weekend. We went down to the beach.
Yeah.
And no sex, no nothing. Never saw him, touched him, nothing.
Wow.
So, yeah. So within that 6 months, like, we never had sex.
Yeah.
So long story short, we ended up breaking up.
Right.
He told his family that he couldn't have sex with me because I have an area of pudge in my lower stomach that I just can't seem to get rid of, and it just made him unattracted to me.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Now he's just a douchebag.
Yeah. So the issue about it is that, first of all, I'm smaller now than I was when we first started dating.
Yeah.
Like, I'm leaner, I'm smaller now.
Right.
Second of all, he was perfectly fine to, like, finish and go all the way with everything else except up to the point when it came to having sex.
Really?
So, yes, when we came up to the point of having sex, he just would completely lose, like, his erection. Completely.
Wow. So the area of pudge, I say that with air quotes,
yes.
was, if we're going with this gay theory, what was freaking him out was your vagina. Let's face it, right?
Essentially, that's what everybody else seems to think. That's also what I seem to think. Also, because I used to be 40 pounds heavier, and that's where a majority of, like, my body count lies, is when I was 40 pounds heavier. Like, how many guys wanted to have sex with me when I was heavier than I am now.
Wait, you're saying more guys wanted to have sex with you now than before?
No, I'm saying that a majority of my body count, a majority of guys that wanted to be with me was when I was
heavier.
Was when I was heavier.
Dude, not that it matters, but I'm definitely into thicker chicks. I mean, so that's just, and I know every guy has this thing, it's whatever.
Right.
But, yeah.
Wow. There have been a lot of people that I've spoken with as well that know him personally, and he has also set off their gaydar as well. That they have questioned and wondered if he is also gay.
Right.
And it's the fact that he tried to use that as an excuse. But I feel like if that was really the reason, then he wouldn't have wanted to do anything with me.
Right.
He just would have been like, period, unattracted to me, end of discussion.
Right.
But he was fine to do everything, and everything, except for sex.
Right. Got it. It's intercourse. Yeah. So do you know if he's raised in, like, a really conservative, like, religious home, and he just can't bring himself?
Not at all. So
really?
His family is, they believe in God, they're religious, they love God, all that. But his family is very, very, very open about sex. Very open. His parents and his
I'm saying,
dad and his stepmom, very open about sex.
Not open about sex, but open about, like, how would they be about if he was gay, for instance?
I know his stepmother is her brother is gay, and me and her have also had a conversation, and she said that she would not be surprised if he turned out gay, because she's been through it with her brother, she would not be surprised.
So I'm just trying to figure out, like, if he is, like, why isn't he just dealing with it and admitting it, or trying to wrestle through, or whatever.
I think it's something that he will probably, if it is true, he will probably never accept within himself, or he will never admit to anybody else.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, okay, so now on to you.
Yes.
Do you, this is, not to be too serious, but, like, because my heart goes out to people, like, I really hope you haven't internalized any of his junk. Like, I guess what I'm asking is, you didn't let his opinion of your quote-unquote little pudge or whatever, like, affect your self-worth or self-esteem, I hope.
So it's been difficult.
Sorry.
Just because I'm somebody who's grown up with body image issues. Like I said, I've been 40 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
And I also think that he took something that I said about myself.
A vulnerability.
Yeah. Like a week before we broke up, I was standing in his bedroom and I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was saying, like, oh, I just hate, like, my lower stomach. I just wish I could like tone it up a little more. I feel like he
just took that
something I said about myself, and
instead of being honest about his issue, he was like, "Oh, I'll take this thing that she said, and I'll pretend that for
sure." And I think also like because I didn't feel like a real shift in our relationship until the second time like we had sex and he just couldn't, or we tried to have sex and he just couldn't like keep his
erection. Well, and for a dude, it's very embarrassing if you lose your erection and it makes you question your, manliness. Whoa, guys, look at that truck. Oh man, hopefully there was no. I think what happened.
We'll go look on ATL Scoops.
We saw a car.
I do feel like he feels embarrassed because, like I said, I didn't feel a huge shift in our relationship until the second time we tried to have sex and he lost his erection and he couldn't stay hard to have sex. I feel like he felt embarrassed about that and he tried to make it about me and how I just wasn't attracted to her. When in reality, I'm smaller now than I was when we met, and attraction was never an issue before.
Right? No, that is not what it is. This is something I've read is your guys' generation, because of the incredible amount of access to porn, there's a lot of young men that now have ED issues because the only way that they've ever interacted with sexuality is through porn, and then when they actually have a real live girl in front of them, they literally are struggling to be able to get it up and have actual sex. So maybe he's not gay. Maybe he's got sexual dysfunction issues. That just popped in my brain. So who knows? Gosh. Anyways, bullet dodge for you, girl. You're beautiful, and don't let his stupid remark that I 99.999999999% chance is not true. It has nothing to do with that. It's his own stuff, and he's a chicken. And I'm sorry he said that, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, obviously that's what everybody tells me. It's hard, to hear that he said something like that, even though I know logically, if I think through our entire relationship, that doesn't seem like a logical excuse.
Right, it's not. But I know how that is. Someone hits a vulnerability, and all of a sudden, even though your brain is no, your heart is maybe.
And it makes me wonder if I had said, because he took something that I said about myself,
right? Yeah,
and he used it as a weapon. So it makes me wonder if I had said anything else, I wish my boobs were bigger. It makes me wonder if he would have used that
instead
as the excuse. Her titties were too small. I just wasn't attracted to her.
Yeah, that's what it was. Which
it makes me wonder.
Yeah, not to be too graphic, but let me just tell you, as a guy, none of that really matters. If you're into the girl at all, sex is sex. It's
well,
exactly. And let me tell you, you're a little happy guy down there. He is there. It's not. Yeah, it's sort of involuntary. It's just he's ready to go, right? Or he's not, and there's deeper reasons. It is. I promise you, as a guy, especially as a young guy, he should be trying to hump everything in sight. That is not you. I promise. Right? Really isn't. It isn't you. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know if he's gay, or I don't know if he has ED issues because of porn, or God knows what else.
Well, I will say, so he is a bodybuilder. As far as I know, he is
the plot. Okay, two things.
Secrets are coming out now.
It's coming out now. Number one, a lot of bodybuilders are gay. First of all, that's right. That's number one. Number two, not all. Then, of course, steroids. Yeah.
So, as far as I know, obviously, there's no way for me to prove this without a test done.
Right.
But as far as I know, he is natural. He competes in natural competition, so they do get tested for that kind of stuff.
Okay, all right.
So that was one question that a lot of people brought up to me is, does he? But I feel if that was the problem, if it was because he was on steroids and that was why he has some kind of ED dysfunction, something like that, then he wouldn't be able to get hard or finish for any period. But like I said, he could get hard, he could finish, he could go all the way for everything else except for sex. When it came up to sex, he just
couldn't do it.
He would freeze.
That's other stuff. He's gonna need to get therapy, or like you said, maybe he's gay, but maybe he's not. Maybe he just needs some therapy, some help. Because there are
Right.
plenty of guys with ED issues, and I know there's help. I don't know much about it, but I know that there is help for that. So
Right. And he's so young. I mean, he's 22. I would be very, very, very surprised if it was like an ED issue because he's so young. Unless he was on steroids, which I highly doubt.
Right.
Because I think he would be bigger as a bodybuilder if he was on steroids.
That makes sense. Yeah. Because
so.
All right, Miss K. Oh my gosh, I know. No, Atlanta is awesome. They hit everything.
People can't drive.
No, they can't.
We love it.
It's delightful. Gosh, I hope everybody is okay. Oh man, I hope everybody's okay.
Straight is close.
Jeez. Okay.
That looked like just a missing tire. So.
Okay. Thank God. All right, Miss K. I can't remember what I called you in the beginning, but you
Kendra.
are Kendra. Jeez, yes, Miss Kendra. Thank you so much for your story. You're amazing.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. I'm proud of her for doing her best to fight against a false narrative of why her ex couldn't have intercourse with her. I know it's hard when your intimate partner hits at the thing you're most vulnerable about and uses it against you. I hope he gets help and figures out what is actually going on and is able to be a better boyfriend in his next relationship. So with the possible exception of the exotic dancer story, everyone today was talking about relationship struggles. I understand why some people tap out of dating or being in a long-term relationship, or why some go on breaks from it, because at the end of the day, it can be a lot. On the flip side, though, the reason most of us come back to it is that we're not wired to be alone. Even if we can't seem to find the right person, we want to. It's an inescapable truth about how we're created. We were created to be in community and relationship with others. My hope and prayer for you is that if you're struggling to find the right friends and or intimate life partner, that you won't give up and also won't settle. Remember, nothing in life that has true value will come easy or cheap. I'm rooting for you. This is what happens when you are a rideshare driver in Atlanta and ask people for their stories. These weren't handpicked people with great stories. They just happened to get in my car and be gracious enough to share with all of us. And who knows, maybe someday you'll be in Atlanta and need to grab a rideshare and end up telling the rest of us the next great story on BCP. I'd actually encourage you to, every so often, just ask a stranger to share a story from their life. You never know what you might learn. I believe that our stories are powerful. They can make you laugh, cringe, cry, or even get you to think or feel differently. Our stories can truly make this world a little bit better place. So please, subscribe, rate, and listen to this podcast and share it with as many adults as possible. It would mean so much to me. First and foremost, I want to thank the incredible writers who trusted me with your stories. You're my heroes. Thanks also to all the people in the background who have believed in this project/dream. All of the music on this podcast was found on Pixabay.com, and it was free, which is an amazing gift when you're starting a podcast on a shoestring budget.